I teach that people who have the gift of giving should be aware of the people who are ungrateful, insensitive, and manipulative. Does that sound like anyone you know? How should we respond when people take advantage of us? Ask God to help your heart remain soft toward helping people and meeting needs, even if you've had some bad experiences. I was just talking about this a couple of weeks ago to someone, and it's like, yeah, you have to be discerning when you're giving. I'm a very, generous person. I like to think, I like to give, but at the same time, I do discern the situation that is best for me to give. And so there are times when I'm like here and I give what, like, okay, here you go. I don't know what you're going to do with it. You may say, oh, I've got bills to pay. You may go and buy an outfit with it. It's not my money at that point. And what you choose to do with it at that time, you're choosing to do with it, you know, even if it is not a positive thing. So there are instances where I think like that. There are instances where I think, someone is being manipulative and they know, oh, she's going to give. And that happens to a lot of people. People, when you give to them, especially when they show a pattern of needing things, especially family members. There's nothing wrong with helping family members out. There's nothing wrong with helping anybody, especially family members we have a hard time saying no to because that's our family. We want to do right by our family and we want to make sure that their needs are met. When you continue to see that it's a pattern with certain people, something ought to click in you that says, okay, I need to be more discerning and be more assertive in trying to say no to this person, but helping them in another way. And I think, some people just think if you just give me the money, that's going to help me. But, you need to, just like that whole saying, feed it, give a guy fish, you feed him for a day, but you teach him how to fish and you feed him and can feed himself for a lifetime. I mean, think about that. That's very true. So if we teach people those foundations, yeah, they need the money at that time, but how are you helping them if they continue to get in that situation and all they can look at you for is the money, the money. All I need is the money. I just need the money. I just need the money. That'll help me out. You talking to me about how to get out of this situation for good is not helping me. All I need is $50 or $100 or $1,000 to take care of this problem that I'm having. But why do you continue to get in the situation where you're needing money? Because see, you're constantly coming to me as if I'm the ATM, and I'm not. And I'm the generous giver, but at the same time, you need to look at your source too. Have you talked to him about how this gonna happen? Have you talked to your source about how you're gonna get this money, other than asking for it for someone else, from someone else? Especially if it's the same person. I mean, people go to multiple people, and you have issues and things like that. And so, I'm definitely aware of when people have that pattern going on and they're getting to be manipulative. And then they can also be insensitive and ungrateful because you think about like the person that you're giving to, you continue to give to, they're not seeing you as, they're not being grateful for what you're giving them because they're just seeing what they can get from you. And it's not so much that the person is being hurtful and being like, oh yeah, I know I can get, like they're just purposefully saying, I'm just gonna ask her for the money, she gonna give it to me anyway and I'll be all right, I don't have to work for it or whatever. I'm just saying that once they realize that you are the giver that you are, you're going to give, and you're not going to have any boundaries, you're not going to have any, you know or like a reason to hesitate or reason to not give it to them, or you're not going to question them or try to help them in other ways other than giving them money. Once they see that you're not going to be that person, they're going to continue to come to you. They're going to continue to ask you and beg you to give them something or whatever, because they see that you're not going to make them feel guilty about it. You're not going to make them feel bad, and you're going to just give. And there's nothing wrong with giving. I'm just trying to disclaim that, because I know it's like, well, this is about giving, but it's at the same time, it's about being discerning. It's about not being manipulated. It's about not being taken advantage of too. And there's times when I have been like, this situation is not the best for me to give to a person. For instance, I could turn the book over. I on my way to work, there's McDonald's, and sometimes I would stop there, or whatever. And there was a guy out on the highway. He was just like, I really need. yeah, I guess he had a sign up or something like that, just really needed money. And that particular day, my heart, I felt led to give. And you have to look at, you almost have to profile, okay, when you give, because that helps. For me, it helps me to be discerning. I'm not saying that I just look at, you don't look poor, so I'm not going to give you whatever. That doesn't mean, that's not what I mean. I just mean that I assess the situation and assess the person and their level of need. So I'm looking at him. He's got the sign of really, he's really wanting some food or whatever. And usually this happens around McDonald's. Times when I've given her like fast food places. That's interesting. So anyway, the guy's on one side, and I realized that I would have to like turn around in order to give him the food, because I just went and bought like a value meal or whatever. And I noticed that he was right. I said, "Hey, I'm gonna go down to the McDonald's, and you can meet me down there or whatever. I can bring it back, or you can meet me down." He's like, "Oh no, I'll come down there. I'll come down there." So I go down there, order the food, and he's right out in front of the McDonald's. And I give him the food, and immediately he's just like, just eating it, just eating it. And that to me, said he wanted, the food was important. That food was a necessity for him at that time, you know. And I don't know, maybe he could have been hustling, because I'm in Atlanta, and it's a bunch of hustlers, and they, you know, some people, that's their job, is to, beg for money all day. You could come up on at least $100 a day. So that's their job. And I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that that's what people do. So you have to be aware of that too in your giving. Give, but yeah, you still have to be aware so that you are not, being manipulated and taken advantage of. Because there are so many people that get taken advantage of, not just monetarily, but, with helping people out on the side of the road, and they get robbed. So many things happen, so you have to be aware. You truly have to be aware, because I've gotten taken advantage of, and it's like, really, are you kidding me? But that's why you have to discern. So anyway, that was that situation. But then, another guy was outside of McDonald's one day, and he's just like, "Hey, man, can I get a couple dollars here? I just want to get." And I looked at him, and I just looked at him, and I was just like, okay, you know, he's outside smoking a cigarette. Outside of the McDonald's, like smoking a cigarette, just like chilling. Not like actively like, man, I really need this so I can get to the next level or something. Just like I all I need is like $5 to just get a meal. I'm really hungry, and then I'll be on my way. Or all I need is, $5, $10. I can put a little gas in my tank so I can get home. Something like that. But that wasn't the case for this particular guy. And the reason I say that is because, okay, he was out there, and I said, no, I don't have anything, and I don't think I did have anything, because I don't, I don't think I carried any cash on me that day or anything like that. And I may have offered to, I'm trying to think if I offered to buy some food or something like that. Anyway, at that time, I didn't feel comfortable giving him anything, because it didn't seem like you had money for cigarettes. But now you want food. It just didn't seem right. So later on, like I said, this particular McDonald's I go by often, because I would go, it was on my way to work, and I saw him out there again, and I said, okay, nah. So you kind of have to look at, what is this person, what's really going on with them, and that's in everything. So I'm just saying that, you do have to look at, because there's just like he's saying, there's situations when you don't necessarily give, because you can discern that you're being manipulated, that someone is being ungrateful with what you give them. Like, wow, I thought I could at least get $20. Why 10? Do you want the money at all? So it's just really about being in touch with what God wants you to do, how He wants you to give. And if you're truly a giver in your heart, of course, if you just give randomly and you don't care, that's going to be blessed as well. It's just really just discerning when you're being manipulated, when someone is being insensitive to your giving into your heart and what you're trying to put out there in the world and give. So just something to think about. I just thought that was interesting, in going back with the title of the devotional, which was things to look out for. Things to look out for. Because God is blessing you to bless others. But be discerning and be wise with it, okay? So have a blessed week. Bye.